I don't know if I should be telling these stories anymore. I was literally out here loading my truck up to go to the dump, and this tree just fell. How crazy is that? Not even joking. This happened about 3 minutes ago. I was getting ready to make a story, and this tree just comes crashing down. And that trail is 100% where I walk to go get my trash. Crazy stuff. Anyway, what story should we do today? What story should I tell? I'm in the middle of writing one right now. I wasn't working at a hotel. I was managing a bar at the time. But pretty sad and tragic. Crazy plot twists. I'm writing it this time, so to kind of generate interest, I'm going to let it generate some interest before I post a video about it. Let's do another short story. Let me think here. What is a good one? Let's do Saudi royal family. Okay, so it's 2006. The king of Saudi Arabia. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. He's sick. And it's a HIPAA violation to discuss what he was sick with or how I knew that, so I'm not even going to do that. But let's just say, as far as I remember with some of our training, we had to have specific training for the family to arrive. This is the Saudi royal family arriving at our hotel. From what I understand, I don't know if this is 100% true, it's a long time ago, but from what I understand, that in that culture, if you're a king, it's not, it doesn't, what am I looking to say? It doesn't put your best foot forward if you're ruling in your country while ill. If you die from like an illness inside of your country, it's like seen as a grave weakness, and that your country is weak because you couldn't beat the illness or something like that. So they continuously traveled the king around the world, going to all of the best hospitals for the illness that he was inflicted with. And so they were just non-stop traveling the world, staying at these luxury hotels, and they stayed at my hotel for 6 months because we had one of the best hospitals in the country, just right down the street from the hotel. And anyway, these guys took over like 4 floors, not even kidding you. And as the story goes, our sales department was like, oh, we'll give you guys a good rate since you're here for so long. 4 months is a long time. And they were like, they thought that was rude. It was like a bad start to their stay, because they were like, no, we don't accept low rates. We're not poor. You charge us the most expensive rate. We don't care. So literally, their bare minimum room was like $700 a night, and then the king stayed in our presidential suite, and they like knocked out walls and changed the carpeting and changed the decor and all this stuff, and they signed all these contracts that they would pay for us, the hotel, to take it all down, reinstall it, then take it all down again when they left and reinstall it back the way it was, and have the hotel do it. Having the hotel do anything is like quadruple the price. So like dry cleaning, if you go down the street to a dry cleaner, it's $2 a shirt. You have a hotel do it, it's like $15 a shirt, right? So they paid the hotel prices to have all this construction done and all this stuff. So anyway, these guys stayed here for about 6 months, and I will have several stories that break down so many things that happened during their stay. But I'll start with one, and this is called the $3,000 come up. One of the leader of the security force comes down about a month before their departure. He's getting ready to leave to go on to be the part of the forward team to go to the next hotel, the next city they're going to stay at, and go, get them set up and check the hotel, sweep the hotel, all that stuff. He comes down. This guy has ordered probably, like, you know how maybe if you ordered a porn movie at a hotel, you might get one? Because they're $30 per porn movie. This is back in 2006. And again, I'm the night auditor, so I know the financial transactions like the back of my hand. I know how to work the system, how to make things disappear. Like, I'm just really good at analyzation and interpretation and things like that. And you know, this was the overnight shift, so I was able to kind of learn the back end of the system like the back of my hand. And so I knew how to make things disappear. And this guy had ordered probably, I don't know, well over 100, you know, pornography movies in the course of, you know, the couple months that he was there, right? And probably the type of guy that was like, you know how you might surf the web for porn and you're like, oh, I don't like this video, let me go to the next one. This guy was doing that, but like paying for them. So these videos are $30. He's like, oh, I don't like this one, let me go to the next one. Boom, another $30 charge, another $30 charge. He comes down and he's like, I would like to pay for my movies. And again, these are very strict Muslims. They don't drink. They are not supposed to watch pornography, you know, all this stuff. And he's like, you know, I would like to pay for movies. And I was like, you know, because they don't have to pay for their own incidentals, but he doesn't want these charges showing up on his folio. And he's like, I pay for movies. I give you extra $1,000. You make movies disappear, no? And I'm like, I can't really do that. He's like, okay, I give you $1,500. You make movies disappear, no? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, sir. I really can't do that. I can't make movies disappear. And at this time, I'm really like trying to say like, no, I can't do that. Like, it's not something that's like physically possible. And then he goes up to $3,000. He's like, no, I give you $3,000. You make movies disappear. Yes? And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, my rent is due. I'm typically broke. I take the bus to work every day. You know, I work my ass off at this place. I'm working 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. All these reasons quickly run through my head as to why I deserve that $3,000. I go, yes, I make movies disappear, yes. I'm starting to talk like he is with this broken English. I'm like, yes, I make movies disappear, yes. And he's like, yes, you'd print me zero balance folio. And I could, like, all he had to do was pay for the movies and I'd give him a zero balance folio, but he wanted to ensure that the movies would also disappear. Like, that there was nobody could ever find them. So I was able to do that, not by doing anything unethical. I just spun them off to a different account, off of his account, and I opened like 8 different windows to that folio and put them into the 8th account. Maybe our internal auditor may have found them, but they're paid, so there's nothing for him to question. And they're paid in cash. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's paid up. No one on my side is going to be like, hey, what'd you do here? Why did you do this? You know? Plus, these guys were transacting like thousands of transactions a day for all sorts of stuff. So no one's even going to like look at this and be like, hey, why did you do this? Because number one, it's paid up. So there's no fraud. There's no theft going on. And this guy just literally gave me $3,000 to, and so I printed out one of the windows that had nothing on it, but it had a zero balance and showed, and so I grabbed his payment of $3,000 cash and then his zero balance. I line itemed and copied and pasted those 2 items into a folio and then pasted that into his receipt, printed him that receipt showing he paid cash, it's all good, and that he had a zero balance. And but that the movies weren't showing up, and that was good enough for him. He's like, thank you to my brother and all this stuff, and he was like so incredibly happy that, you know, possibly his internal auditor or the Kingdom of Fahd auditor accountant wasn't gonna see over 100 like disgusting porn titles on his hotel account, even though he paid for them independently. He probably could have lost his job or been stoned to death. Who knows what the punishment is for watching interracial pornography in the House of Fahd or whatever. But true story, $3,000 come up. I don't know if it's unethical. Trust me, I did way worse shit than that. That was just probably the beginning of it, because it was the beginning of my career. But that's also how I learned how to get very sly with like the technical processes behind my job. And I'll have more stories behind how doing something like that. That was the first time I had done something like that, where I didn't really deserve that $3,000. I did something very quick, very easy to do. And I was able to kind of come up off of these guys under his stupidity, and just the fact that he didn't know what I was doing on my end. He basically just wanted to purchase a peace of mind from me. Could that have been found out if they really asked? Yeah, but like I in my mind, I was confident in knowing that that was never going to happen, because they would have had to go digging for something that wasn't even there. There was no fraud there. There was no like theft there. The money was paid. Who cares? Who's going to look at that twice? So anyway, yeah, I did that, and he was happy about that. I'll throw in some other stories there too. Apparently, in that time, like high-end clothing, like Ralph Lauren, for instance, if it's an American brand, you can get Ralph Lauren in Dubai, you can get Ralph Lauren in Saudi Arabia, but if it's from America, it's like worth more, it means more to their culture. Even though they hate us, they want to wear our clothes. The younger kids, the princes and stuff like that, they ordered hot dogs, chicken nuggets, fried chicken. They had NSYNC and Britney Spears posters all over their bedrooms. But as we all well know, you know, Saudi Arabia and the United States have always had a pretty tumultuous relationship, right? A lot of back-end geopolitical, you know, kind of nonsense going on back and forth. They're our friends, they're not our friends. 9/11 hijackers were mostly Saudi Arabia and so on and so forth. So, but they love our culture. They hate us, but they love our culture. Anyway, yeah, Bin Laden was Saudi Arabian, right? So this guy was heading, so another one of their family, their entourage is huge. It's like over 500 people, just the people that travel with the royal family. The royal family itself is like probably in the hundreds. The people that immediately traveled with the king at this time was like 75 to 100. And then everybody they traveled with was like well over 100 to 150. So yeah, they took up a couple of floors, and then people would be in and out, right? They would come for a week or two. Maybe it's like a family doctor, come check, you know, all this, you know, and all these crazy names with like 27 letters in the names and stuff like that would check in and out, in and out, in and out. So, you know, and it would all just, the room and tax was always paid to the royal family, but they were all, the most of them were responsible for their own incidentals. What's an incidental? Movies, telephone, charges, you know, food from the restaurants, things like that, mini bar, anything that's charged outside of just your room and tax rate, okay? And again, these are people that got insulted when we tried to offer them a cheaper room rate because they were you know, going to be using so many rooms. They got insulted by that, and they said, no, you charge us the most expensive rate, because they literally do not care about money. They have so much of it, which is why our gas prices were the way they were back then and the way they are now. I'm not making this all a political thing, but anyway, it really gave me understanding back then as to why things are the way they are. And so this guy goes to Nordstrom and with a U-Haul and gets like every single Ralph Lauren polo in the entire store, every single Ralph Lauren this, that, and these are stories told to me by bellmen or doormen that like saw the U-Haul pull up, and they filled this U-Haul to the brim with United States, you know, luxury, not even luxury, but like, you know, popular like fashion wear. Most of it was Ralph Lauren from what I heard, and a couple of my bellman buddies snagged a couple of shirts and stuff like that, but they said they had this U-Haul filled to the brim simply because, and as they understood it, if it's purchased in America and it's an American shirt, it's just worth more. Again, You're in Saudi Arabia, Dubai. It's like the capital of luxury. You can buy these things there, but it's not the same. It's from America, so it means more. So yeah, just an interesting little piece of information. I saw a credit card bill that came in on a fax one time, and this thing was like, it was just like one single credit card to one of the princesses, and it was for $25 million. And it was like 18 pages of just very small print of just charge, and like all those like fancy stores in the UK. I don't even know the name of them, like Harry's or something like that, or something like just non-stop charges of just shit, just like I don't even know what jewelry and and that's just how they lived. These guys had endless amounts of money. They ordered $11,000 a day in room service. $11,000 a day. And they wouldn't even eat it. This is just a smorgasbord of food that was to be delivered to each floor. They had one suite that was like a feeding suite, but most of them had hot plates in their own suite, and they would cook their own, I don't even know what they eat, but like rice and stuff like that, and I guess halal, a lot of them would make their own food. But because of the opulence and how they are, they just wanted smorgasbords of food every day. Fried chicken. I mean, like American food and also food from their culture. But and then the kids would call down, and they would always call the front desk. They didn't care about calling the restaurants. They didn't care about calling the outlet, but they would call us. They'd be like, cheeseburger, a hot dog, chicken nugget, and that's it. So the kids would just order this stuff nonstop. And we're talking an order of chicken nuggets is like $15, right? Because this is a high-end luxury hotel. Hot dog, it's like $10, just on and on and on. These kids would order it like crazy all day long, and like this stuff would just add up. So each day I'm closing out these transactions as the auditor, and I'm just wowed by like how much this $11,000 a day. And those are guaranteed charges. That's not the individual food that's being ordered. Maybe they don't like something that's in the smorgasbord room. They would order something on their own, right? And a lot of these rooms, they didn't have to pay their own incidentals because they were a part of the royal family, all going to one separate account. So at the end of the day, all said and done, for the 6 months they stayed there, their hotel bill was $25 million or something like that. No, the credit card was the credit card bill was $12 million. Their stay was $25 million over 6 months. And I know that sounds crazy, but that includes everything. Like the construction that had to be done for them to arrive, the deconstruction when they left, and then the reconstruction to get it all. I mean, they knock down walls and suites and stuff like that. They take over the hotel, they design it the way they want it, and then you gotta pay to have all that stuff put back. They left 2 SL 500s, Mercedes Benzes, but I don't know if I have the SL 500 thing right. It's those presidential Benzes or whatever. They left 2 of those behind. They left behind refrigerators from Home Depot that weren't even opened. They left those behind. They left behind the craziest stuff that was totaling millions of dollars in goods. And because when they moved out, it literally took our hotel 2 months working around the clock to not only do the repairs, but just to clean up after them. An entire family and their entourage has moved in and taken over our hotel. So just imagine what that took. My next story, or if you want to, I will tell you the security guard story about the good little Mormon security guard and the question I posed of him when he was in charge of clearing all of the rooms. It was an overnight job. We had a nighttime security. It's a 24/7 hotel, right? When you get up to that level of service, all hotel departments are open 24/7. So his job, when the last guy had departed, was to go through each suite with a lost and found box. The next story, if you wish to know it, is what was found in that box and what was the total value of that box. And what did our good little Mormon security guard decide to do with it when he got it? If you want to hear that story, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I got a lot more stories. There's a list posted somewhere. I'll post it on one of the comments, or maybe I'll edit the hotel stories introduction, and I can post the list of like stories. But as I tell them, like I'm like, whoa, I can make a story out of, like, even more stories come up. I'm like, I can make this into a story, or I can add these stories together, and like more of them are starting to come back to me. So I started off with like a list of 20, and now it's like already doubled in size, just based on the fact that things like now as I'm jogging my memory, things are starting to come back. Even my wife says, she's like, you're gonna run out of stories, you're gonna run out of content. Honestly, I don't think I will, because as these stories get further along, I will tell you about my progression, my own personal demons, and where a lot of this hard work, overnight hours, and how that kind of took me down and drugged me down, and how a lot of these stories and my lack of morality at the time, my own personal demons, intertwined and kind of created a lot of these stories that made them unique to just me and not other hoteliers or other hotel stories, because of who I was at the time, how I became deeply involved as a character in many of these stories. So there's going to be a lot of great content. I hope you guys are enjoying this stuff. Typically I think I type better and I write better than I tell them, because it allows you to create the imagination. But a lot of you are saying that I tell the story well as well. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are enjoying this. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll keep posting. I'm gonna try to do a story a day at a minimum. Comment, like, subscribe, smash that notification bell, and tell me what you want to hear about. I'll try to find a place to post a list of stories, so I don't have to just come up with one. And I will do what you guys tell me. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.